Hey guys, it's Bobby Legs, and welcome to another episode of Bobby Legs Loves Watches. And today is another weekly chat with our in-house enthusiast, Ryan. Hey Ryan, how you doing today? And what do you have on your wrist tonight?
Good, Rob. I have on once again my IWC Pilot, big
Yeah,
Pilot.
I love that watch, and I think it sounds like from our communication the last couple of days, are you like pinpointing? Are you getting closer to deciding what kind of strap you're going to get as
I have a feeling
switch it up?
by the time I decide and switch it up, it's going to be fall.
Yeah, right.
That's that seems like the likely outcome. But I might just pull a switch and just grab a couple of lesser items and lesser expensive, I should say, and just do that for now until I decide what I'm going to do long term.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. I got on the newest acquisition. It is
Beautiful.
the Damasco DS30, which we had done a video on a couple weeks ago, comparing that and the Zen, and how you were kind of like a little bit of a toss up of which one to go. And then here I go get it, and I think it's gonna really complement my Zen A56 UTC. I wear a lot of blue and gray. It's just a fun watch, a casual watch with those colors, jeans and whatnot. Um, I like the strap, although I'll probably switch it up a lot.
I like that strap. I have to tell you, I love that strap. I
Yeah,
at first I wasn't sure, but I saw a couple of. I think we were discussing it too before. I saw, the initial offering. I was like, I don't know if I love the strap, but
yeah,
to be honest, now that I see it, especially I saw your unboxing video today, and I really like it. It has this durable rubber back, and
yeah,
that is what will keep it fresh and clean.
yeah.
I like that tech that they're using now for these straps.
Yeah, and in the same vein of keeping it like fresh and clean, I have this strap coming in, this NATO strap that has different shades of blue in it, and I think it'll really pair up nicely, so I can get more life out of this strap that I have, the stock strap that the Damasco comes with. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that too, and then hopefully I could pair up that NATO with the Zenith Primera. My Primera is a 19 millimeter. This is a 20 millimeter
That'll
NATO.
fit
So
just fine.
so I think it'll just
Now
fit fine. Let's
I've
just hope.
stuffed I've stuffed 22s into a 20. Really, the deciding factor is the thickness of the
Yeah, right.
and also like the clearances of the case on the of the El Primero. Most likely it'll fit though.
Yeah,
I've had
yeah,
like only a couple that won't, like super thick NATOs won't fit, but
right.
that for 1 millimeter, no problem.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. Anyway, so what we want to talk about tonight, guys, there have been some releases in the watch world, and so we might be late to the party with a couple of them, but one of them has just come out. So we'll start off first talking about the Breitling Chronomat B01, the 42 millimeter with that really super interesting bracelet. Ryan, what are your
Yeah,
thoughts on that one?
sure. So I love this watch. So let me give you a little bit of specs. It's called the BO142 Breitling Chronomat. Initially, I think this model was launched, the Chronomat, in '84. What's
Mm,
unique about this is what they call a roulette bracelet. It has like
yeah,
I don't even know what to describe. It looks like almost like needles,
yeah,
stacked together.
yeah.
Um, but this has their own in-house movement. It's
Hmm.
listed for $8,100. The movement has a 70-hour power reserve. It's
Yeah,
COSC, so it's what all Breitlings are, I think.
right.
200 meter water resistance, unidirectional, 120 click bezel. It's a little bit of a bigger watch, at 42 millimeters, dial, 15.1 millimeters thick. It's a
Yeah,
little on the bigger side, but that's typical for a Breitling.
yeah.
200-gram weight. The lug width is 22. Um, and I actually love this bracelet. I'll tell you why. I Years ago I used to be a much bigger clothes horse.
Hmm.
Nowadays I don't have time as much, but I used to spend a lot of time, and I'd go to Short Hills Mall. And the
Yeah,
manager Steve was also into watches, and I became very friendly with him. And I bought a lot of stuff there.
yeah,
Probably could have bought a lot of watches if I got into the hobby sooner. Where I was, but in any event, he had one of the more vintage pieces. I've never seen it again in the wild. It had a yellow dial and that
yeah,
roulette bracelet, and I've never seen it again. And I've seen a few online, but never out. out in public. I've never seen anyone in the flesh wearing one, and it's striking. It's unique. It's something that it's not for everybody, but overall, I think it's a really really impressive looking bracelet to have. And it's probably you might not want that every day. Depends on who you are, but I think it's a
Yeah.
really interesting offering. And um, typically the chronomats, I think in the 90s and I should say the early 2000s, were getting a lot of flack anyway. I don't necessarily think people love the high polished look, but that's also a very standard Breitling offering for the
Right.
polished look, and I actually really like it. They do it really well. I think it's a great watch.
Yeah, I mean, the bracelet is super, super interesting. I really like it. It seems like it has been a little bit of a divisive feature on it. You either love it or hate it. I guess I'm in the camp of the loving it. You know, I'm interested in the B01 movement. I know that's been out for a couple of years. I know they lent it out, and Tudor has it in some of their chronograph model that they had a couple of years ago. They put out, and they did basically a movement swap, and one of the Super Oceans is using the new Tudor movement. I think it's a Super Ocean, one of those models. Anyway, um, so it has a little bit. It's been around for a couple of years at least. So that's reassuring to me. The $8,100 price tag is a little scary. I know. Look, I mean, now it's a hard watch to get. In a couple of years, you'll probably see a lot of flexibility on that price. You could probably get it on maybe a little bit of a discount and whatnot.
I
But then at the
mean,
same time, when you compare it to like a Daytona, it's still a bargain. Do you know what I mean?
well, it's if I recall, when I bought my Super Ocean, this is going back to about 2003. I bought it, at Fortune Off, which is now out of business. But I want to say that I paid 20% under list price,
Yeah.
and that was, without really a whole lot of haggling. I don't know prices, 100%, and I don't know what anyone's going to offer, but I wouldn't be surprised if you could get that watch for somewhere in the range of, maybe 15% at least under suggested offering or list price.
Yeah, probably
Um,
not now, but maybe sometime down the road, maybe like in a year or so. I think right now it's a really difficult watch to get, and a lot of people are probably paying that MSRP for it. So,
sure.
but just like most luxury watches, there is a deal to be made. So I think that's not a problem. And in a year or two, you can probably pick these one up for a pretty reasonable price. But I too, I love the watch, man. So moving on, we are going to go and talk about the Sinn U50. Now, we had talked about this watch before, but it was more of a comparison with the U1. But I felt like, even though it's been out for a little bit over a month now, or the release of it has been out, and people are starting to get them in, I still think it needs its due. Ryan, you made a really good
Sure.
point a month ago saying that Zinn finally listened to what their fan base was telling them. Make a smaller version of the U1. Yeah, expound on that. What do you think?
Sure. And I know we spoke about this a little last time too. And my first thought was, I don't like it. It's too small. I don't like it. The U1 is perfect. But then I thought about it, and I think putting them head to head and realizing, one of the big differences is the thickness of this watch. Um,
Hmm.
it's 11.15 millimeters thick. That is a pretty svelte
Yeah.
watch, and it'll really fit well under a shirt cuff,
Hmm.
as opposed to the U1 coming in at 14.7 millimeters thick, which opened my eyes a little bit to the watch becoming something more than just a sporty dive watch. If you're so inclined, and I would be, um, to slip that on with a suit, because everyone has different preferences, and
Yeah.
I'm certainly one to push the envelope. It makes it a very wearable watch. That
Yes.
also with the smaller dial at 41 with a 47 millimeter lug to lug, that is a reasonable proportion for just about anybody to wear. So while it's certainly going to be a lot smaller than the U1, I really think that it creates a very functional everyday watch that could be used in more situations, and for a lot more functions than you would just have for a U1. And I would be interested to see. I actually love it. I would want the black version
Hmm.
uh, with a. I love that red strap. I think that
Yeah.
red silicone, it's really sharp.
Yeah.
that's something I've been lusting after for a while. But and really now that I've opened myself up to wearing some smaller watches, despite having the big pilot on, I do really like that dimension. That 47 millimeter lug to lug seems
Yeah.
really like a good sweet spot.
Yeah.
They did a
For me
good
too.
job.
Yeah.
They did a good job. I can't wait to really, if Watch Buys comes around, who knows if that's going to happen this year, but if
Yeah.
they do their roadshow, I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
It'd be interesting to see. This is what I'm waiting for is once these U50s get delivered, the people, the guys who have the U1 in their collection or who have sold off or whatnot, and they start getting the U50s, what their opinions are going to be. Like, having had that experience with the U1 and now with the U50, what are they going to say about it? That's what I'm going to be really interested in seeing. So moving on to the last release, the latest release. I know this is going to be an interesting one here. It's the G-Shock. I got to read this. The GMWB 5000 CS, the laser etched grid design stainless steel G-Shock. Ryan, go.
I don't know what this is about. I guess I applaud the fact that they're trying to innovate with some new offerings, and that's always to be applauded. But I think it's hideous. And my first thought was, this is the thing. This is that comic book character, the thing. It's horrific, and it's expensive at $800. That's a lot of money for a G-Shock with a really hideous laser etched case. Um, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and I'm sure someone's going to find this interesting. And I know a lot of guys just collect it and they're going to buy it anyway, and hopefully it'll make them a lot of money down the line.
I uh I love it. I really, really love it. I don't know what it is about G-Shocks in general. Well, I know why I like G-Shocks in general, just because it brings me back to the 80s, a very fun decade that we grew up in. But the interesting thing about this etched design, like if I was in the 80s and if I wanted to think of what was like a futuristic watch would look like this is what it think like this is the future if you were in the 80s. Do you understand what I don't know if you catch it.
I do. I actually do. And
So
I think if you're a product of the 80s, like Max Headroom or something like
yeah,
that, it
yeah,
just
yeah.
has that whole retro futuristic vibe. I get
it,
it.
it's solar, it's Bluetooth, plus radio connected. It's different, yet it looks very, very familiar. Yes, the $800 is a lot of money.
I'm not
Maybe
saying it's not. I'm not
I
saying
think
it's
it's,
not worth it. I'm not going to
yeah,
say it's not worth it because that's not really true. Um, look, it's got that big heavy case
yeah,
and the bracelet. I'm sure it took some technological advances to create that
yeah.
design, and I get it. I just don't necessarily think I want it.
Right, right. But
But
but like you said, there's people out there, they're fans, G-Shock fans, who will shell out the money. Now, look, I mean, who knows what it's going to be like in a year or so? Maybe that you can get that, you'll be able to find it on Amazon for half the price. But there's some models like that the Stealth Oak right now. You can't buy that watch. You can't find it anywhere, and if you do, it's like double the price of what the MSRP is on. So I don't know if this is going to be one of those models where like everybody's going to want it, it's going to sell out, and they're going to wait for another release by Casio to flood the market with some more. I don't know if it's going to be that, but it might. And so hey, listen, these guys at Casio, they're a lot smarter than us. So I think they know what they're doing. I like the watch a lot.
now my only gripe with the smartwatch aspect of them, it makes it very disposable because what happens is, and I use Garmin watches for training, so that's my smartwatch, if you will, and they really don't. The technology gets dated. So now
Right.
it's one thing if you spend a few $100 and but now you're spending 800 and you realize that a lot of the functionality is probably going to be useless in a couple of years. And that's the kind of watch that potentially could be. I think there were a bunch of guys on one of the boards asking how long a G-Shock lasts, and the truth is it could be 20, 30 years.
Right.
Mine unfortunately the resin crumbled, but I found it in the back of a drawer. Probably was like 25 years old, was plus, but and it was functional and fine once I put the battery in. But somehow the exposure to air after all
Yeah.
those years. It just crumbled. But technically, guys have them for 20 plus years, and I would probably want that too. So I would prefer if they didn't have the smartwatch stuff. But
Yeah.
I know that's what people want. So
Yeah. Well, Ryan, another great chat tonight. Guys, let us know what you think. What do you think about the Breitling? What do you think about the Zen? What do you think about the Casio? I know Ryan wants to know what you guys think about the Casio. And anyway, we'll catch you guys in the next weekly night chat. Thanks, guys, and
take
have a good
care.
one. All righty.
Take care. Bye bye.